What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Flagrant 2. No easy buckets analysis by assholes. Water cooler commentary for your sports teams. I'm here with Akaash, Singh, and real live Cass.
Yeah.
And we're trying to figure out how much Bron'S nut is worth. What do you?
You gotta preface that. You gotta preface that first. You can't
yesterday not yesterday. Last week we were having the discussion of is LeBron, is Giannis, are these people superhumans, right?
Yeah.
Specifically with the conversation of LeBron was, here's this guy who may or may not have a photographic memory.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to look that shit up. It's not worth it. Don't worry about it. Yeah. He may or may not have a photographic memory. He clearly is one of the most gifted human specimens we've ever seen.
Yeah.
So the question remains: if you're a single female billionaire and you
male, if you're trying to,
interesting.
If you can't have babies,
exactly.
Right.
Who else would you want impregnating your wife? LeBron, if you took him back in time 100 years ago,
Right.
people would worship him like, oh my God, a god has come down.
He's Genghis Khan.
Not disrespect. If
Genghis Khan apparently is like, what is he? There's like 10% of his DNA in like every Asian or something
really,
like that. Or something like that. Like
I'm just saying, if a 6'8", 240-pound carved out of
super
marbles,
fast, super smart,
people would be like, oh, this is God.
Yeah. And like, I don't know, man. If you go to like a sperm donor place,
yeah. I looked some up, by the way. For
don't
this
they
discussion.
like? They usually like they give you kind of like what would equate to like a menu, right? Of like, like what would you want?
So that's the tricky
the
thing.
sperm to be, or like the donor to be like, right?
You would assume.
Okay.
They
don't do this.
Well, they do to a certain extent. There is like, they look at your history. They got to make sure there's no like, you're not psychotic and you're not a serial killer and there's not in your family, I assume.
You don't have diseases.
What's funnier than you researching sperm
yeah.
donors is us not reacting at all to you researching sperm donors.
Well, I was thinking about it because when I was thinking about how much I would pay or somebody would pay for LeBron's sperm on the open market, right? No, for real,
like,
dude.
it's priceless. He has priceless sperm.
He has priceless sperm. Like,
does.
there are tied up condoms somewhere floating around the
sure.
Hudson that could be worth millions and millions of
For
dollars
sure.
if they were in the right hands, right?
Like, you think about it like this, like women, I mean, like, scammer women basically, they turkey based, or like they cut the holes in the condoms to like, like bench warmers. Like people are just like, they're just like 6'8" and like whatever, they're just tall.
Yeah.
And like, I just want to marry my way or get child support my way into the NBA, into these millions, whatever.
Right.
You can't put a price on LeBron's like turkey basting or the holes in his joint, because he's hit the genetic lottery. Like
he's hit the genetic lottery.
You're not gonna get anything better than that.
And the reason because here's the thing, there are guys who are big, but I don't know if they're smart.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you could be like, you hope that they get all of your DNA. But here's the thing with LeBron, like even if your kid gets your physical DNA and his mental, then you're set.
That's still a win.
Yeah.
It's still a win, right? And if they get his physical, your mental, win.
Yeah.
Right. So, I researched this one clinic. There was this guy who was trying to like make like humanity better. I know this sounds like very Hitlerish.
I was about to say, like, this is getting
it gets there.
Very concentration campy.
That
haircut isn't.
So let me just say what it is, right? So I know. So basically, what he did is he was like, listen, I want to get like all these smart people to offer sperm, and then people can choose to re-up with the smart person's sperm, and he would like have people go to campuses and professors and teachers who had like incredible intellect, and be like, yo, donate some sperm, and then
we're gonna save the world.
I don't know what we're gonna do with the world, but what's kind of weird is I researched. I was like, how did the kids come out mad normal?
Really?
Yeah, so it was a little bit shocking. So maybe our brains aren't like entirely genetic in terms of intellect. Maybe
you mean normal in the sense like they just came out like super average, like
like accountants and shit. Like they're not like solving mysteries, or I don't know why mysteries would be
the
first thing. Scooby Doo, Scrappy Dappy. Like that's what I would do with brain. If I was real smart, I'd get my friends and a dog in a van.
Solve murder mysteries.
Exactly. So it was like, well, whatever. We don't know exactly what happened.
There's the difference between a professor and LeBron is a marked difference.
Yeah,
like
I was about to say like normal in the sense of like they just became like the average Joe who's the accountant. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And at the same time, like average is so relative. Like, if you take somebody who, whose family never really had shit and, like, kind of had to scrap to make ends meet their entire time, like, the person that grew up to be an accountant, like, made it. That's great for them.
Right.
So I guess that's all relative. So, like you said, like, with the professor and LeBron James, like, I kind of feel like those
I could
babies,
make an accounnt with a method.
Exactly. You know what
I'm not worried
like,
about accountant.
You're
right.
fine.
We're talking about greatness.
I'm talking about physical peak humanity.
Right. But that weighed into my cost for his sperm.
Okay.
Right. So because my initial cost was $100 million.
$100 million is what I was just thinking.
But here's the thing: it's only $100 million upon pregnancy.
How so?
Oh yeah.
I need guaranteed kid.
Of course.
And that's an important thing to put in the contract. If you're buying LeBron's sperm,
of course.
you tell him like.
So we're talking miscarriages here. This got real...
Miscarriages don't count.
Yeah.
No. It's
you don't need guaranteed.
For real. Yeah.
You don't need guaranteed pregnancy. You need guaranteed childbirth.
I need guaranteed pregnancy, childbirth. It has to be out of your control.
So 9 months we wait until you pay. And
the baby's got to come out.
It's not just one sperm. It's as many sperm as it takes for her to get pregnant.
Yeah.
Well, he doesn't give you one.
Yeah, I mean, it's one sperm
same batch.
Tuber,
you get like a billion.
You get however many
sperms come out in a nut.
However many sperm samples until she gets pregnant. $100 million. That's completely reasonable.
Real dark.
Honestly, for $100 million, it would be worth it to tell LeBron to jerk off whenever I want. Nope, didn't catch, Bron. I'm gonna need you to whack it off. Bro. I got a game tonight. I don't care. Maybe that's why the Cavs lost to the Knicks.
Probably, man. Somebody's probably paying him out. Like, you know what's crazy? Like,
you don't think in that $1 billion contract Phil Knight gave LeBron, there wasn't like, let me get some spark.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm thinking. Like, yo, if you're like a superstar or used to be a superstar and you're down on your luck, right?
Yeah.
You don't think you can't find some rich guy somewhere to be like, hey, listen, I ain't got much money, but I'm like a physical Adonis, and my sperm could be worth lots of money.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
you need to find a rich girl who doesn't have a man. That's
what
your
I'm
play.
saying. It's all about the rich girl. You find a rich single girl who just hasn't been able to, find a man. She wants to get pregnant.
A rich single girl, or like a mad scientist who wants to cure humanity and like just create a whole race of girls superhumans. For that. Do you?
Yeah, you can't have the baby without the girl, right? Chicken or egg. You think we're putting up with these girls for what?
I'm thinking like a Marvel movie where
you just take like an egg, you find an egg random. You know what I mean? Like pay a girl for an egg.
I'm thinking like an X-Men.
But where do you have the baby?
You make like Weapon X and just put them like where Logan's in a tube and like strapped up to all these things and he heals super fast. And then
this would be an ideal situation. You throw me that water, Alex. This would be an ideal situation. Boy, I got it. And Flagrant too. What's up, we're athletes.
Hands team.
That was a lot riding on that catch right there, yo. If I bobbled that shit, that could have been the end of the podcast. Yeah. Anyway, so I'm going with the $100 million with guaranteed kid.
I don't even know if that's high enough. If it was a bidding war for LeBron's sperm, it would go for billions of dollars.
Why would it be bidding war? You could just keep
theoretically, if there was like, all right, he's only doing this once and for one person.
One time.
He's only doing this for one person.
So you're saying that LeBron's sperm is like a Wu-Tang album.
He just stands in the middle of a crowd with a bunch of people with test tubes like, all right, guys.
How much did old boy...
You guys got one shot at this.
I nominate his tribute.
Let's say he wanted to do it for charity, right? There's an auction for charity.
Yeah.
One child to whoever wants it from my sperm.
Yeah.
How much do you think it would go for? Billions of dollars.
I think $100 million is caps.
I think Jeff Bezos would pay...
Bezos.
Yeah. Who gives a fuck? He's not LeBron. I don't even know his fucking smart sperm. Who cares? Big deal. Billions of dollars.
You know who pays that money? That fucking farmer bro. What's his name? The guy who bought the Wu-Tang album. Martin Shkreli. Yeah, definitely. He ponies up to $200 million for that. I think he like doubles it up. Like not even to create another.
He would pay for a video of LeBron jerking off.
Away from people. Just to be a dickhead. Like he'd just buy it just to keep it away from people.
All right, fine.
Yeah, this is gross. I don't know how long I can keep talking about another man's genitals.
Look,
but
I was fascinated.
It's scientifically fascinating. Like I like to see like the next generation of leaping humanity forward. Like,
literally.
Who is LeBron's wife?
Savannah James. That's high school sweetheart.
Yeah, what's her background? Like what is
I've never researched
we're about to see if you can make genetic freaks, because what's that chick who was doping, the running girl? Now she plays in the WNBA.
Oh gosh.
For like a Home Depot salary. She used to be like the most.
You're really asking me to like name her.
Marion Jones.
Marion Jones.
She plays in the WNBA.
Yeah, that's where she. Yeah.
She doesn't.
I swear to God, she was playing.
Marion Jones plays in the WNBA.
Yes, please look that up.
There's no way. Well, anyway, yeah. Continue.
So yeah, Marion Jones was playing in the WNBA, and then I think her husband. She had a child with Tim.
Well, Sheldon Williams and Candace Parker have kids also.
No. Sheldon Williams.
Candace Parker carries a lot of that weight.
Yeah. Sheldon's there.
Sheldon Williams a bum.
But
and I think they divorced too. So like he completely lost.
All right, done. She was playing for the
Tulsa Shock. She played for the Tulsa Shock?
Exactly. Yeah, I thought you know your WNBA.
Well, the WNBA fans
her husband, or I don't know if they're still together, but he had a child with an Olympic sprinter. Yep. I think his name was Tim Montgomery.
Tim Montgomery, yes.
Tim Montgomery.
At one point,
so the fastest woman in the world, and the second fastest man, I guess, in the U.S.
At one point, yeah.
At one point, had a kid.
Yeah.
We don't. How old is this kid? We don't know. But if that kid doesn't work out, then this shit is all crapshoot, and you can have babies with whoever the fuck you want.
I mean, I think you need a bigger sample size than that. Let me ask you this.
Why?
Though. If you could have any two people procreate for the good of humanity, whatever, in whatever way you want to do it, for entertainment purposes, whatever, who would it be?
Me and a bad bitch. Simple question right there. I had that.
That's a layup.
I'm saying if genetic building blocks is 50-50, I don't know if you need that big a sample. The kid's got to be good at sports. Now, if he sucks at sports, it's environmental, or this shit is all luck. I would rather it be all luck, to be honest. How dope would it be if your children were completely... your children's brains and athletic ability was completely independent than you.
You're basing all of science on their kid. Like, genetics for you is just based on this baby.
All of science, but a good amount of science. I think, listen, it's a good... How often are you going to get this situation?
Yeah.
How often are you going to get number one...
Graf had a kid.
And how's the kid
I think he's like 14.
How's the kid at tennis?
He doesn't... They don't want him to play tennis.
They don't want him to play tennis. Well, why have a kid?
Steffi
Graf looks like me. Why would you have you're Andre Agassi? You can have a kid with anybody. I assume it's to make the best tennis player.
I feel like Andre Agassi had bitches back in the day.
He did, but you know what's crazy? He was like in love with in love with Steffi Graf for years.
Really?
Yeah, like for years, like stalker level.
That's what's up.
Stalker level.
Stories like that only are like they're only happy endings if they get married. Like any other way, it's like
for sure.
I watched you for years.
Yeah.
Now you can't do that anymore. Now you can't do anything to her. I don't even hug girls anymore.
Yeah,
I dap them up. I go, what
up?
How you doing? Yeah, nice to see you. Good day at work, sir. I call him sir. I don't play.
Especially now, man.
No
like
games,
every day, somebody's coming out with the Me Too and like Neil deGrasse Tyson. I read about today. Like
really?
He said that he tried to get.
Fucking Kevin Spacey, bro.
Out of this world.
But above.
Neil deGrasse Tyson. Thought you knew everything, huh? How about learning about consent? Piece of shit. Been talking down to us for years about the galaxy and the solar system. Yeah, okay. I see how it is.
Oh, that's so funny.
Jesus Christ. You don't learn about no? You ever learn about that out there? Huh.
Oh, fuck.
Try to enter too many black holes. How many of these can I do, guys? How many of these can I do?
I'm waiting for you to keep going with the space puns.
I go space puns all day with this motherfucker.
I'm waiting on Uranus.
Uranus. There it is. Oh, my God, Uranus. Might not be a planet, but it's a place that Neil deGrasse Tyson takes if he wants. Or is it Pluto that's not a planet? Yeah, we got to get him on here, man.
God damn. So
against his will.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. Yeah. To be fair, it's allegations.
There's a lot of allegations.
Yo, I need to see the girl, man. What dork he was hitting on. Fucking nerd girl. I want to see how that sexual situation went down. Well, you know there is no God because, well, we have all these calculations and it'd be so hard to do. Ooh, is that your thigh my hand is on? Wow. My hand dropped at negative 9.67 meters per second. That's gravity, baby.
Oh, man.
Fuck that guy. I don't know why I don't like Neil deGrasse Tyson.
I was about to say, like, what did Neil deGrasse Tyson ever do?
I don't know, man. There's something
did he
smug
rape your
about
sister or something?
There's
Did he
something
touch
smug
your girl?
about him, though.
There's something smug about him, bro.
Oh,
He be ruining all our fun.
Yeah, I feel the same way about Bill Nye.
Well, at least Bill Nye, like, he levels with you a little bit. Like, Neil deGrasse Tyson, like, he makes sure he makes you feel stupid every time he says something.
He
like,
does.
Bill Nye will at least say some smart shit, but level with you, so you kind of, like, get it.
Yeah.
Neil deGrasse Tyson, like, he will just speak an entirely different language.
Yeah, but when I found out Bill Nye wasn't even a doctor, I was like, you need to shut up, Bill.
He never said he was a doctor.
Motherfucker was like a teacher,
He was like an engineer or some shit.
Fuck
Not
outta
even,
here.
dog. He don't even have a master's.
Really?
Bro,
He's
you
just
gotta
an
research
actor,
these
bro.
people. And then Neil deGrasse Tyson, I looked him up. He ain't done shit either.
What do you mean he hasn't done
Fucking
shit?
done
He's an astrophysicist.
Some physicist, some shit, dog. I need give me some things, dog. You put
What do you mean, like discover a planet or some shit? Like,
yo, Elon Musk out here sending rockets to fucking space, and all he did was invent eBay, or it's not the other one. PayPal, whatever. This motherfucker is
Elon
inventing
the goat,
payment
dog.
program.
Yeah, no.
Elon the goat.
He's not
That
even a
motherfucker's the
scientist,
goat.
even. He was an engineer that just turned
better
into a
than
super
Edison.
Yeah, but
Scientist,
engineers
though.
are the smartest people. They're like, it's
they're
fucking
actually out
crazy.
there fixing
Practically,
shit and
yeah, it's
creating
insane what
stuff
they can do.
Right.
that will be used in your everyday life. That's why
Look,
I fuck with engineers.
Fair enough. Okay, and you know what? Fine. Let's get Neil on. We got to get Neil on. We'll figure it all
We'll
out.
figure it out.
This motherfucker.
This is a sports podcast, by the way.
Yeah, we're gonna get into sports soon. We just had to settle some beefs with Neil deGrasse Tyson. I got a beef with this guy. I don't know. What the
Yeah,
fuck
I don't
it
know
is,
how
yo.
you have a beef with this dude. Man.
I don't
It
like
doesn't
him,
make any sense.
Cass.
For what?
Because he
For
got a
what?
stupid show, Stargate, and fucking fuck
I was
you.
on that show.
You went
Really?
on Stargate?
Yeah, they did interviews with comedians somehow, and then
So you
somehow
just
I
gonna
was
have
on
shit on your mans like this
Hold
this
on,
whole
hold on,
time?
hold on, hold on,
Yeah.
Hey,
Listen.
that ain't your mans?
Hold on.
No, he didn't talk to me. Chuck Nice talked to me. Chuck's a great guy.
I do
Chuck's
love
a
Chuck.
great-
I do love Chuck.
Chuck's a great guy.
Chuck's a funny sweetheart.
Gentleman
of a guy.
through and through.
Okay, so he's also on the show with Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah, they're like homies.
And what the name is of the show is called Star Cuck. Is that it?
Real talk, I can't find this show anywhere. Someone sent me a
I
screenshot.
saw it yesterday. I was enjoying a nice long series of survival in Alaska. You know, they have the homesteads and all this shit. And all of a sudden, this shit switches off from my nice long... I'm watching 3 hours of survival in Alaska. I'm ready. And then all of a sudden, it switches to stupid-ass Stargaze or whatever this dumbass show is. And I got to look at Neil deGrasse Tyson talking to celebrities about stars. Who gives a fuck? Like, no offense, who gives a fuck what Akaash has to say about this?
Fam,
You know what I mean?
I
Like,
gave a
I don't
captivating
give a
interview.
fuck.
I was about to
I
say,
gave a
like,
captivating interview. My shit
He's
was-
right here.
About
like,
what?
I want to go
Bro,
watch
I don't
it now.
remember.
You can't even name 2 constellations.
The
Yeah, I
Big
can.
Dipper.
Go.
Orion and the Dippers.
There it is. That's
That's
3.
3. Orion's belt. That motherfucker
Can't
got a
even
belt.
name 4. Bro. Ain't no anything.
The North Star?
The North Star's not a constellation.
So what, dog? That's what black people use to get freedom. I can't talk about that shit? You trying to shut it down? All right, Andy. You trying to shut down the stars, dog? The freedom stars?
Oh, shit. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, motherfucker.
I hope we're recording.
Oh, my God. I hope
I would
so,
suck
too.
if this shit ain't recording.
I
Yo,
hope so,
Alex,
too.
we're
Yeah.
recording, right?
Shit.
Don't fuck us over.
Ugh.
Oh, we did this Western Bros podcast shit on the what's it called, Stranger Things. We did this binge, and like the funniest episode, I just didn't press record on. So we're walking off the
man.
S, we're dusting off shoulders and shit. Like, woo, we killed
Killed
it.
that one.
Coming for Chris Hardwick.
Psych.
Nope. Your job is safe now. Still. Chris.
Ugh.
All right, let's get to some
Soon
sports
enough.
shit.
Soon enough.
All right. Cavs beat the.
Cavs didn't beat.
Cavs didn't beat
They ain't
nobody.
beat nobody.
Damn
You're
right.
You're right.
Mhm.
Cavs lost to the Knicks. What does this mean?
You're really underselling that. First off, the Knicks fucking
I got
dominated
bur-
the Cavs.
Yo, the
yesterday,
Knicks
bro.
did dominate the Cavs. My bad. My energy is low.
Like Tim Hart. First off, we understand. Happy birthday. I know.
Oh,
you-
yeah.
Oh, yo, happy birthday.
It is your
Thank you.
birthday today.
Thank you. I got birthday
Happy-
blues, y'all. I
yeah.
got birthday blues.
Don't get birthday blues, bro.
Yeah, I guess you're
Very
right.
good. Anyway,
Nah,
There we
get
go.
birthday
we'll
blues.
talk about it over some drinks after this.
Facts.
Um,
Okay, so
yeah.
KP. First
So-
of all, one thing I noticed about KP, this motherfucker does not get scared.
At all.
He does not get
At
scared.
all, bro.
And the word, by the way, cur. Remember I used that at the
Yeah.
other. It's not care. It's a term used in dog fighting. When one dog isn't afraid of the other dog, when one dog gets afraid of the other dog, he's a cur or something like that.
Okay.
Whatever. I don't know. It could be care. I don't fucking know.
So
the point
LeBron
is
was Curry yesterday.
no. LeBron wasn't scared, but neither was KP. Like KP wasn't afraid of the moment.
I'm gonna tell you this.
Okay.
There was.
He built like he hadn't hit puberty yet.
This is an old picture. He looks a little
body
bit more
like he got scoliosis.
He looks like he's put on a little muscle since then. But here he looked like
he's built like an astrophysicist.
Fuck you, fucking Neil deGrasse Tyson. Fuck you.
Yo, leave Neil out of this, bro.
Neil's never allowed on this show.
Leave Neil out of this, bro.
I'm tired of it.
This is a sports podcast. Let it go.
I'm done.
Let it go. Let it go.
I understand that you're an intelligent man. I understand that you have an incredible ability to make very complex things understandable to normal folks like us. I completely believe that, and I appreciate that.
But
fuck you. Fuck you all the way, dog. I don't care. I'm done.
Yo, there was a tweet during the eclipse where he said something like, "Guys, don't get so excited. There's one eclipse every 8 months or whatever the fuck small ass number he threw out there." And then someone quote tweeted, "This guy ruins everything." And I was like, "Yo, I can't argue."
No, he does do that though. Like anytime you get excited, I saw a shooting star. He goes, "There's 1.3 million shooting stars per evening in the night sky." But whatever, I don't want to talk about it.
Wait, he tweeted something today that was like,
"Oh, here we go." Now Kaz on board.
Very much
Kaz on board with
the
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Boom! Here's the tweet.
Right, go.
Tweeted it 7 hours ago. If the world really were going to end cosmically, I'd let you all know, and with plenty of time to do nothing about it. Like, what the fuck, dude?
We don't need.
Like,
I'm gonna buy LeBron's sperm just to dump it on him. That's what I would do with it. You're not gonna make kids? Nope. Where's Neil deGrasse Tyson?
Oh man, I just want to dump this on his head. That's probably the most flossiest thing you could do. Like, I spent $150 million on LeBron's sperm just to throw it in your face. That's the most ballless shit anyone could do, dog. Like,
hey,
LeBron,
Neil,
I need you to jerk off in his
what's
cup.
helping this sperm drip on your head right now? Is it gravity? Who do we have to thank for that?
Oh,
who figured out gravity? Who was that guy? Newton.
Oh,
yeah.
Newton.
Fuck you too, Newton.
Oh, gosh.
All right, anyway.
All right, let's get back to Knicks.
KP don't cur.
KP don't cur, or he's not a cur, or whatever the fuck it is. Somebody from the South let us know. But yeah, he's not afraid. These Euros, they don't have the same fear.
Yeah, I feel like there was a few times last night where, and it wasn't even like he like dominated LeBron, right? But he had a few moments when it was crunch time when the Cavs closed it to maybe like 5 points.
They closed it to like 10 or 7.
Yeah,
and then he pulled a 3 right in LeBron's mouth.
He pulled a 3 right in LeBron's mouth, nailed it. 2 plays before that, he called for the ball with LeBron posting on.
Yeah, I saw that.
You know what I mean? Like he missed the first shot, but he came right back down. Like, yo, give it back.
Let's go.
Give it back. And then he went and he drove past Kevin Love for the finger roll.
So they came around that nice little pick.
And then he hit the 3. And then he's like the go home, drop the mic 3, like the game's over type of shit.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, the one thing I was worried about him was like I didn't think he was ready to be that dude though.
You didn't think he had the alpha?
I didn't think I don't like and granted, he could still have a great career and still be really good. There's a lot of great players that aren't alphas. I feel like there's only like 7 real alphas in the NBA.
Okay.
Right? There's LeBron, Westbrook, Curry, Durant, Harden, and
I don't know about Durant.
Yeah, I don't think Durant.
Kawhi Leonard.
I don't think Durant.
And like
Kawhi.
And I say all that to say, I thought he was going to be really good. I thought he's going to be great, but I don't think he was going to be like an alpha like that.
Right.
And like games like last night, and like I know the Cavs are coming off a back-to-back, whatever, but they're still at home. They're still they were last year they were bottle flipping on the bench and like completely disrespecting the Knicks. So it's like,
can I just interrupt you real quick? Shout out to Loopy Blogger. Did you see Loopy's post?
I did see that.
Oh my God! Loopy starts his post where all you see is like his back.
Bottle.
All you see is the background of his house, just the wall of his house, and then into the frame pops his hand and a Poland Spring bottle, and then he just goes, "No, we not flipping no bottles today, Cavs." Yo, that shit was so funny.
Oh,
we gotta get Loopy on.
We do need Loopy on the show. We absolutely need Loopy on the show.
Tell Loopy that we're inviting him on the show.
But so that's what my thing. Like I feel like yesterday, even though it's an early season game and you get a lot of really weird sample sizes in the beginning of the NBA season, that showed me that Porzingis could really be an A1 like top level NBA star. with that game. Like he's starting to get. You know when you know he's gonna be like a great one. When you get quiet 30-point games, he's had he put up a quiet 34 yesterday.
He's really good.
Everybody was talking about Tim Hardaway Jr. going off, but very sneakily quiet 34 and 12, and it's like, and you expect that from him now.
He's really good. Everybody shit on Phil when he drafted him.
Yes,
I still trust Phil completely. I still don't think he should have been fired, and I do think trading Melo was the best thing that could have happened for KP. And I think they need a couple more good draft picks, and then the Knicks got a squad. He's somebody you can build around. You just have to actually build.
Yeah. How are we going to get draft picks if we're going to be a 5th seed this year?
This is true. I mean, I still think.
How you figure that?
Well, that's you're doing the Knicks thing. What's that? The Knicks fan thing?
What's that? I'm being realistic with fifth.
A 5th seed.
I would say 1st seed if I was going to be obnoxious, but I'm being realistic. I think we're going to be the 5th seed.
Can I say this though? Actually, to that point, you know, what I was thinking. I always talk about the process with the Eagles.
You cannot be reasonable.
No,
we're Knicks fans.
Say anything reasonable about the Knicks?
Knicks fans aren't
right
reasonable.
Now?
God damn it.
No, it's not even about the Knicks. But you know, I always talk about the process with the Sixers.
Yeah.
I think the new process is. You just hit on your draft picks. They can be later, but like Curry was what? 9?
Yeah,
Kawhi was 16.
Yep.
Giannis was like 17, 18, something like that.
Some of the best players in the league right now were late first round.
Yeah.
Picks,
Like
I mean,
it's
Isaiah
almost,
Thomas was second round.
He was the very last pick.
Very last pick of the draft.
Very last pick in the second draft. My thing is with the NBA.
It's a good point though. It's a good point. Yeah.
It's a lot harder to hit on that first pick to me. You know what I mean? Like, there's so much. The expectations are so high, and like, you know, if you pick somebody in the 9th pick, 10th pick, 15th pick, whatever, if you know anything you get after that is gravy. You know what I'm saying? But if you get a number 1 overall pick, you have to be a number 1 overall fucking pick. Yeah. Like, you have to be a franchise savior.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because you only get compared to other number 1 picks.
Yeah.
Like, from now on. Anytime people mention, you know, you were the last pick of the draft, they go like, oh, but, you know, Isaiah Thomas was too.
Right.
You could be Isaiah Thomas.
Right.
You know
Who was the last transcendent number 1 pick? LeBron, then Dwight Howard was great, and then...
I mean, Blake went number 1.
Yeah, Blake.
Ben Simmons went number
not
1.
Transcendent. We'll see.
Ben Simmons could be.
He could be. But, like, LeBron, I mean, LeBron was the last truly transcendent number 1 pick.
I mean, this is a lot to put on one pick in particular, but I think if you go back through the last, like, 10, 15 drafts...
Yeah.
More often than not, the best player is not going to be the number 1 pick.
Facts.
Probably not even top 5.
Right.
Facts. Yeah. Because you know, a lot of times, a lot of things with those scouting services and how people evaluate talent isn't necessarily based on like how a player fits in a team. It's how a player is developed and how a player has looked against the competition before that. Like there's certain players that don't even hit on the team that they had drafted at. You know what I mean? Like they could end up somewhere else and just be a bad fit for where they're drafted.
Right.
Like, look at, I think Tatum's in a perfect situation. You know what I mean? He's averaging close to 16 a game. Like, he's right there with Ben Simmons as far as, like, rookie of the year to me. And I feel like if Jason Tatum would have went anywhere else,
it might not be
it might not have worked out. You know what I'm saying? Like, Gordon Hayward's injured. One of the Morris twins, I forgot which one's on Boston. He's not there. So he's getting a ton of time around teammates where he's not going to have to be the first option.
And a good coach.
And a very good coach. You know what I'm saying? Like, not a lot of players get that opportunity. And how many times does a top 3, 4, 5 pick end up on Eastern Conference team that won the most?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The most wins in East Conference last year. That's super rare.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, like you said, like, a lot of times, like, those number 1 picks, it's hard to hit on those, man. Like,
also, they're so young. Like, they got a lot of time to develop as men.
Yeah.
Like, you're 19 years old. You're not at even your physical peak till, like, 6 years from now, really.
Yeah.
So how do we know what you're going to be?
And on top of that, a lot of the times, and I'll talk to players, when on the road, like, basketball is, like, maybe, like, the 4th most important thing to them as far as, like, adjusting to NBA life. Like, they've played basketball their entire life. Like, basketball is, like, the easy thing.
Right.
But, like, being in a different town every night, like, learning how to, you're responsible for your family now for most of the, for most of these situations.
You're a grown-up,
You're a grown-up, I mean? You are the breadwinner. Like, there's so many things that come in that, basketball almost takes a back seat to a lot of these people.
Maybe there's something about being the number 1 pick and the pressure and stress that goes through it that gets to these players. Because when you're a 16th pick, there's really no expectation whatsoever. You can develop. You can put your own time in. You're not doing photo shoots all day. You're not taking, pictures to cut open a banner and go to meetings with the people buying the press box, not the press boxes, but the
season
the
ticket
suites
holders.
and the season ticket holders. There's now this. It's like being a franchise quarterback is very time consuming, and being the 16th person in the draft really isn't. So not that I would trade my number one pick for the 16th.
Oh, I would always take my number one pick.
Obviously, but maybe there's something to be said about like really looking into scouting and getting away from an old school mentality with scouting.
Yeah, I'll tell you this though, I feel like scouting's got a lot better.
Man, you would be surprised. Like, I mean, I know certain guys who still go with their gut.
Yeah, that's wild to me, though.
But that's part of the system. Like the old cats go with their gut. They go, I don't think he got it. I don't know if they feel the game.
I do think there's a place for the gut.
Sure, there's a place for the gut, but like if you look at the NFL, right, like they have it down to hand measurements.
Oh, it's crazy.
Weight to shoulder
it's
ratio.
Like uncomfortable.
It is uncomfortable to the extent that they have it. Wonderlic test, like all these things, and they're really going for it. Whereas the NBA, we still have this thing like, oh, he gets hot.
Because I mean,
Malik Monk, why should you have him on his team? Well, because when he gets hot, what does that mean? We're going off of when he gets hot.
But it's so much, with the NBA and the NFL. The NBA is so much more of a player-driven league, whereas like one player can literally change your entire franchise.
Right.
Whereas the NFL, look at Deshaun Watson, who is absolutely murdering NFL defenses. They still can't win games.
Yeah.
Because, like any other league, if you're putting up the equivalent of Deshaun Watson numbers in the NBA, you're a top 4 or 5 seed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, but, in the NFL, there's just so many other moving parts. So, yes, you have to get down to, like, hand size and like can this person pass this test and do this and run this fast.
But you would think real quick, that since the contracts aren't guaranteed, you really wouldn't care that much. You could go off your gut in the NFL. Whereas in the NBA, this contract is guaranteed. You're paying this guy $200 million regardless.
Yeah.
I would look into his medical history. Does his mom have bad knees? Does his uncle have bad knees? Do they have a history of fucking osteoporosis? Like,
but they do.
They do.
They do. That's what I'm saying. And that's why I was saying, like, the people that go with their gut, I'm like, why would you do that?
Right.
Like, right now, like, you can see highlights of Jason Tatum when he was 7 years old on YouTube. You know what I mean? Like, back then, you would only probably get tape of, say, like, for example, when I was growing up. You know what I mean? Like, there wasn't a whole lot of hoop services like that. That was on the internet anyway. It was, like, Rivals and, like, maybe 2 other systems or whatever.
Right.
And you get, like, their AAU tape, and you get maybe, like, some games from when they were at high school.
Right.
Now, like, bro, like, I've seen... You could Google footage of Lonzo Ball in his backyard with his brothers, like, hooping up. You know what I mean? Like, there's a whole different level of scouting now with the NBA where it's like a lot of people, like, there aren't that many misses anymore, which makes the Markelle Fultz thing so baffling
I think
to me.
Markelle will be all right.
I think he'll be fine, but I'm like, how did they not catch that shoulder shit?
For everybody who doesn't know, basically, Markelle Fultz has been sidelined indefinitely. They're saying about 3 weeks, but with some shoulder issue, they're not really sure what it was. Probably because they heard us trashing them on the podcast. I mean, I think we were not. I want to say we were the first ones to say it. Obviously, people are talking about he might be injured, but it was. And I heard an interesting perspective on it. He goes, maybe the 76ers are trying to teach their players the difference between playing hurt and being injured. Everybody in the NBA is hurt. Right. Nobody is healthy. You're 30 years old, your knee is going to hurt after a game, your ankle is going to hurt after a game, etc. But being injured is something that stops you from being an effective player. And I think that clearly the shoulder is injured. It's without a doubt. I mean, the guy can't even shoot with the form that he's been shooting for his entire life.
My thing is, like, if you see that, and I hate to belabor it because I feel like we talked about it a lot last week, but I'm like, with as much information that we have at our disposal for all these players, how come it's always the Sixers?
Sixers are cursed.
They have some fucked up injury history with those players.
Crazy.
Like,
their Philly is cursed.
Like Embiid, Simmons.
It's to the point where I know it sounds superstitious, but like I'm the type of person I don't walk under ladders.
Yeah.
I understand how silly that is, right? I understand how stupid that is. That being said, it's so easy to just walk around the ladder, right? And that's how I feel about the 76ers. If I'm a player that's going to be drafted, the last fucking team I want to go is the 76ers. Because the last, 3 guys that you got?
Yeah.
No, more. Nerlens Noel was hurt. Now, I think they drafted him injured.
One, yeah.
Joel Embiid, they drafted injured.
Hurt.
He was, Then Ben Simmons was out for the year.
Now Markelle
Fultz.
Fultz. And then
even
before
Okafor
that,
got hurt. Okafor had the off the court stuff that was happening.
Okafor had off the court stuff. Their arena doesn't even work. They had multiple blackouts last year. Remember that? I always joke around. The Liberty Bell is a crack.
Didn't you do a show in Philly that was blacked out?
I did a show in Philly, and it just blacked out. Philly's cursed. Something is wrong there. I don't know exactly what happened, but something very evil happened in Philadelphia.
It's not a curse. It's karma.
For
Boo and Santa Claus.
Listen,
Boo and Santa Claus.
That's
right.
For everything. My girl's from Philly. I go there all the time. There are some great pockets, but there's also a lot of people you talk to, and you're like, why are you like this? What the fuck is the point of being like this?
It's an angry city.
Yeah,
there's
for
a
no
lot
reason.
Of anger there.
People are just always mad in that city. Like,
so they got some bad luck. Do you want to play there? I know it sounds superstitious, but if every draft pick that they gets
NFL,
injured,
they're kicking ass though right now, unfortunately.
Yeah, and until something bad happens,
they'll be out in the first round.
They'll be
out in the first round.
That's what they do.
Well, they're going to get a bye, so second round.
Well, they'll be out the first game they play.
Right, I hope so.
Yeah.
Here's something that I've been thinking about this week. How good is Chris Paul?
I think we're all asking that question right now, right?
I've never Chris Paul for me has always been the prototypical point guard, right?
Yes.
He's always been the ideal point guard. I've been looking at this guy, scrappy defender, but great. Great ball handler, can get to his spots if he needs to score, distributes really well, gets his teammates the ball, but can never really win effectively come the playoffs.
I've been a Chris Paul truther for a long time.
Okay, and it's one of these things that even my friends that are deep in the basketball world almost hate to admit, and they argue with me on, right? But I'm just I don't think you can win with this guy. And now I'm looking at this Clippers team, which I think is effectively better without him. A very interesting team. I think that they did the best in the offseason, and nobody really spoke about him.
They're very deep.
They got Gallinari. I don't know where the hell they got him from.
Pat Beverly.
They got Pat Beverly. Great.
If they get,
Jamal Crawford.
Milos comes back.
And this
Teletovic. Crawford's on the Timberwolves though.
Not Crawford. Who am I thinking of? The microwave from the Lakers.
Lou Williams.
Lou Williams, yes. Yeah. It's just guaranteed buckets guy. They got a nice guaranteed buckets guy to come off the
Blake's
bench
a star.
And, and then Blake's a fucking
He's
superstar.
balling out
all
of his
of
mind right now.
Yeah.
It's interesting what's going on. So we have to sit back for a second and go, how good is CP3? And the reality is, I think that he's been. Oh, and not to mention, the Rockets are playing great without him.
Yeah.
So how good is CP3?
I've always said that Chris Paul is an empty calories point guard.
He's popcorn.
He's popcorn. Like, he puts up the numbers that you guard,
right,
but it never really results to substantial winning. He'll win some games for you, but I always say it like this, because people always give Melo shit. When Melo was here, I was the Melo rider. I'm like, yo, if you're gonna give Melo this type of energy, you got to give the same energy to Chris Paul, because he literally does the same exact thing. Like, he puts up numbers, they win a couple games, doesn't get past the first round.
Right.
Ever. I think he got past the first round one time when he was in New Orleans when they had Tyson Chandler.
No, he got past the Spurs in an epic series. He played
his ass
off.
I do remember that.
And then they blew ridiculously. They were up, I think, 3-2 to the Rockets, and then blew a huge fourth quarter lead. And a time when I thought they could go to the finals.
Yeah.
I think they'd have given that Warriors team a run for their money, and they just fucking blew it.
And I feel like
why is it?
I feel like Chris Paul just kind of not as drastic as Dwight Howard.
Yeah.
But I kind of feel like he's still one of those last in the Mohican point guards from a generation ago.
He is an old school point guard.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
In the same vein where the game kind of passed Dwight Howard by, even though he's still effective, he's doing well in Charlotte.
But he's not a superstar.
He's not a superstar, and you can't win a championship with your big back to the basket big man.
Right.
Same thing with Chris Paul. I feel like Chris Paul would be the shit in the John Stockton era, in the Kevin Johnson era,
yes.
You know what I mean? The 90s, Chris Paul is your prototypical point guard that you need to win a championship.
I think got him in this new era. I do agree with you, and I love Chris Paul, but I think he's just too small in this era of point guard.
Yeah.
Every point, Steph Curry. We went to a Clippers-Warriors game a couple years ago, and Steph Curry just looks 5 inches taller than Chris Paul. I don't know what the listed heights are, but he's just little.
Chris Paul is listed at 6 feet. I think he's 5'10", 5'11", but
he's stocky.
He's stocky, so he doesn't look as small that he is, but he's short. And
why is it? Why is he not that good? Why is he not effective enough?
He's good. He's just not somebody who's gonna win a champ. He's not gonna will a championship for you. You switch Chris Paul and Stephen Curry on that Rockets team.
Yeah.
How much better is that Rockets team?
Oh, it's insane.
Insanity.
That's
You put Stephen Curry in a Mike D'Antoni system.
Yeah.
How much better? Russell Westbrook, fucking.
Yo, you know what it is? Maybe the days of the ball dominant point guard are done.
Well, because kind of everybody can dribble now. Like
that's right.
Yeah.
Everybody can dribble. So why are you putting the ball in the hands of the smallest guy on the court? Why don't you give the ball to LeBron? He's throwing passes over everybody.
And that's why I'm saying he's too short. Like you have legitimate. I was looking at Blake. I was like, this is like a point forward.
Dude,
I'm watching.
Blake looks incredible.
He looks great.
In a slow down game where you got where you have a big man like a Dwight Howard, and you're running like 30 pick and rolls a game, and you're setting up, you're dribbling the ball, and you're taking like 18 seconds to get a shot off. Like, Chris Paul is still very effective, but now we're in a league where you got to push the rock up. You got to get the shots up in like 8 seconds or less. You know what I mean? And you have to be a threat yourself.
So why are we so convinced that he's good? And why have we been so convinced that he's good?
I'd
still take him over. Yeah, I'd still take him over a lot of point guards. I just don't think he's a championship winning point guard.
Who do you not take over him? Obviously, you take Westbrook over
taking
him.
Westbrook.
Taking
Steph.
Taking Steph.
Taking God, who else?
That's the tough thing. It's like, can you name 5? And if you can't name 5, then he's elite.
I'm taking Kyrie.
I don't know that.
I'm taking Kyrie.
I would take Kyrie.
It's a different league. I would take
I know
Kyrie.
why. Probably everybody on Twitter thinks I'm an idiot, but I'm going to stick with Chris Paul.
But I understand why you might say that, because Chris is a way more engaged defender and just a way better defender, and Chris isn't that much worse of a scorer.
Yeah.
If he needs to get 2, Chris can get you 2.
Nobody's gonna take her head off for taking Chris Paul over Kyrie Irving. I'm just saying, personally, I would take Kyrie based on how the game's played now.
Sure. It's Kyrie. Who else?
Lonzo.
Harden.
Would you? I'm taking Lonzo.
Would you?
I think I would take Lonzo.
With that combination of youth and being able to average 9 rebounds, 8 assists a game, all that, I'm taking Lonzo.
Okay, John Wall. I take John Wall.
Taking John Wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, even though he can't shoot, I'm still taking him.
Okay, what about the second tier point guards?
I think he's up top.
I think he's at the top of the second.
So is he a top second tier point guard? I mean, this is insane to talk about a guy who has
the point guard.
He has a shoe deal. He's
not even the best point guard on his team.
Which is true.
He's not.
That is a great.
James Harden runs that team much better than Chris Paul does.
Who's had better marketing for his career than Chris Paul? Think about it. This is a guy who's achieved in the NBA pretty much nothing. Yet he's pretty much nothing in the NBA.
Melo.
Yet has had.
He's the mini Melo.
Yeah, but he's had. Think about it, and he's had shoe deal.
Melo.
Tons of endorsements. I mean, like major commercials. We're talking about like
State
that State
Farm,
Farm shit is
Cliff
legit.
Paul,
Like you got a fake.
Yeah, we did that,
brother.
bro.
Like,
Translation. Yeah,
you guys did it.
Yeah, we did that whole.
How many good athletes, NBA players, has State Farm put in their commercials?
Steph Curry, Dame Lillard. That's another person I'm taking.
Oh, Dame, I'm taking over him.
I don't know if I'm taking Dame over Chris Paul.
I love Dame Lillard's game.
I love Damian Lillard's game. I just don't know about his defense. Chris Paul again is a much more engaged defender.
Sure, but he can't.
But I do love
like
Dame Lillard. Yeah.
But all I'm saying is like, this guy is maybe I guess you could argue the Melo, but is he the cash me outside of the NBA?
Yo, stop it.
I'm just saying.
What do you mean by that? You gotta explain that more.
It's genius marketing behind her. Like, she hasn't done anything to prove that she deserves all this fame and opportunity and money.
Okay, well let's not completely shit on Chris Paul. He's multiple time All-Star, Rookie of the Year. He's been first team All-NBA a bunch of times, gold medalist. He's accomplished.
Dude, he's what I think of a point guard, I think of Chris Paul.
Yeah.
So, but I think I have an antiquated view.
So that might be true.
What a point guard
also,
is.
you know what I was just gonna say about Chris Paul, and then I immediately had to check myself. Is I was gonna say he makes his teammates better. And now I'm looking at the Clippers. And I'm like, I don't know.
That was always the argument for Paul. It's like, oh, if Paul's on your team, you're going to average 20. Oh, if Paul's on your team, you're going to get this.
He's got to go to San Antonio. I think that's his only chance at salvation.
But what does he even do at San Antonio? He is a ball-dominant point guard.
Yeah.
Can he just sit in the corner like Patty Mills and shoot up threes?
No.
He can do what Tony Parker did.
Which is what?
Carve up the lane, pick and roll. Yeah, carve up the lane and play smart defense, play smart ball, pass to the right guy.
Okay, he can do what Tony did, and he can do it better than Tony.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's definitely better than Tony Parker ever. Even though Tony Parker's way more accomplished.
Way more accomplished.
I still think Chris Paul's
more
talented than Tony Parker.
Chris Paul might have benefited from the greatest marketing ploy, and maybe he's just so alpha that like he just convinced us all that he's on the banana boat.
Well, his
with LeBron,
game is
he's
fun
on the
to
banana
watch.
boat with who else is on the banana with Dwayne
Wade.
Melo? They're all hanging out together. So we're like, oh, I guess he must be one of the guys.
One of those guys.
I'm trying to think of like a rapper who just hangs out with all these other rappers. So we're like, oh
like
yeah,
French
he's
Montana?
really good. So yeah, so maybe is he the French Montana?
He's like
he's there. He's got a vodka. He's all this stuff.
Puffy and Drake and
You're
all
like,
this
yeah,
stuff.
he's successful. He's a great rapper, right?
He's the Kardashian. Yeah, fuck it. He's great.
Is that what's happened? Have we been bamboozled? Have we been tricked?
Chris
He's
Paul's
also
the
a
French
great
Montana
guy.
of basketball.
You know what I mean? Like he cares about the community. He's always giving back to kids and shit like that. It's like you almost want him to be the marquee point.
He plays the type of game that when you think of a leader, you're like, that's what I want. Like I want a guy who's gonna take charge and run that team and be a floor general and be a coach on the floor. And that's him.
But we've seen games. We saw that game 7 against the Spurs. We saw it before the Mayweather fight, one of the Mayweather fights.
Yep.
And he carried that fucking team on his back
in
Game 7 against Tim Duncan's Spurs.
Yeah. We always wanted that Chris Paul. We always wanted him to dominate offensively like he did without deferring.
And let me say this about the Clippers. I think they are doing really well right now. Also, it's an 82-game season, and I think for the first time in a long time, they have the gift of low expectations.
That is true.
There's no burden on them.
I feel like having Chris Paul on your team raises that expectation, especially in his prime.
And I don't know if I don't know if DeAndre Jordan can
French
handle
Paul. Shout out to French Paul.
Yeah.
The franchise.
The franchise. Woo! Let's go.
I've been telling y'all, man. I've been telling y'all for a long time. He's gonna be the best point guard next to Lonzo out of that draft class.
Who?
Frank Ntilikina.
Oh, I was saying French Paul.
Yeah. Oh, you were saying.
Like
French.
Montana.
Went over my head.
Oh, Frankie Nicky. I love Frankie Nicky.
I love Frank too, man.
Yo, Frank is a legend. All right.
Sorry. Is that another Phil pick?
That is
You Knicks fans
that
are
is
so
a Phil pick.
Not you guys.
That.
I know you love Phil.
That's
Everybody
that
shit on Phil is a fucking idiot.
That is a Phil pick.
I always love Phil.
To be fair, he did need to be convinced to pick that from Clarence Gaines, who was like the Knicks' guru of scouting, who found Porzingis when Phil Jackson wanted Okafor.
Yeah.
And I guess
he's a good leader. Listens to his people.
Yeah,
that's true.
There you go.
Trust his people. That's a good point.
I'll take you on that one.
I mean, found Porzingis. I mean, a guy who's 7'3" and can shoot and then dribble the ball. It's not that hard.
Found him at the 4th overall pick.
Everybody wanted Jahlil Okafor at that pick, man.
Knicks fans don't know shit. It's infuriating.
Listen, I was probably upset, but whatever.
You were.
I love being wrong about that pick every single day. I love it.
Draymond Green, Bradley Beal.
Can we give me some credit for Draymond and Boogie? Draymond barely got Bradley Beal out here ripping his jersey.
Yo, you know what?
You were right about that.
You were right, son.
Thank you.
You know who curs? Draymond Green, son. Draymond Green curs, bro, because Bradley Beal came around, slapped him in his fucking mouth, and all Draymond did was grab him up. And then I guess they kind of tussled and then kind of went to the ground and it stopped. Now,
and I'll tell you this, man. Draymond's been talking a whole lot ever since. And I guess he has a reason to because he feels like he's targeted or whatever.
Yep.
But hasn't said a word about it.
Bradley
Beal.
Yo, he was a G.
Because he's the real, I think.
Yo, Bradley Beal's the real thing, bro.
I think sometimes, and you learn this when you're growing up, sometimes the best thing to do to a bully is just go to him and punch him in the face.
And just hit him in the mouth.
Just hit him in the mouth. It's like, yo, like.
That shit happened to me when I was a kid. I was in 4th grade or 5th grade, maybe 4th grade, and I would take the bus home. And there was this kid who would just, for whatever reason, kept slapping me in the back of the head on the way to walk to the bus.
Yeah.
And I don't know what got over me, but he slapped me in the back of the head. I turned around, I punched him right in his face, and I blacked under his eye, it popped like a little blood vessel or something like that. And the whole way home on the bus, he was like, "Yo, I know karate. I'm gonna beat your ass." Da 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 da. Never said a single fucking.
That's what Draymond did. He walked into the locker room screaming. Bradley Beal just smiling at everybody.
He's like, "What am I supposed to do?" He's like, "If somebody shoots me, I'm gonna shoot back." And
you ain't shoot back.
And I'm like, "Bro, you had all the opportunity to."
You were waiting. The refs let you tussle. It was like hockey.
You hugged him.
Didn't even step in.
Y'all had a good couple of moments to get in there, and he's like, "Yo, I didn't even hit him back." I'm like,
"You hugged him,
bro."
Yeah. That's the thing. So
Bradley Beal was about that action, bro.
Oh, Bradley Beal's a real one. And you know what? I know this sounds like a weird thing, but it was a gut instinct thing that I've got. But I don't know if you ever seen Bradley Beal and John Wall in press conferences together. Have you ever seen them?
Nah.
It's a really interesting dynamic. Whenever John Wall's talking, after he says what he says, he'll always look to Bradley Beal for
like
approval. And I never thought they had that dynamic because I thought that John was the real alpha. I was like, yo, this is the guy. But I kept on noticing, like, he'll say a funny line, he'll look over at Bradley, and Bradley's just kind of like stone cold, just kind of chilling. And I was like, yo, is Bradley the real motherfucking deal?
Really the alpha?
So it was so fresh to see that shit happen. And also, real quick, now that Draymond has been checked, you know how like in prison when somebody takes your pudding, do you think that the rest of the people
the domino effect's going to happen.
People are going to come for that pudding, yo.
The domino effect's going to happen.
For real. Give me that. What flavor is that
cornbread, bro.
Vanilla?
Nah, he's definitely going to have, and he's already kind of been a target in the NBA just because like he runs his mouth a lot.
But nobody stepped to him.
Nobody stepped to him since Beal. Like even Bron didn't really step to him. Like
that's
when
right.
He should have.
Yeah.
And now, and it takes like a player with the level of Bradley Beal who doesn't have like that much to lose. Where it's like, yo, like I don't give a f if you're a 2-time champion, whatever.
Yeah.
You gotta catch these hands,
bro. Protect your. There's one of the 48 laws of power. Protect your reputation at all costs.
All costs.
And it's like if your reputation is that you're a tough motherfucker that will sit someone down on their ass if need be,
you better protect that.
In a way, you have to risk the suspension. Like, yes, he did the right thing in terms of not getting a fight and not getting suspended, but he did that at the risk of his reputation as a tough guy and someone who talks shit.
Any Warrior stands who try to tell you he didn't fight to not get suspended,
bullshit.
Get the fuck out of my... This guy's punching people in the balls in the finals.
Kicking them.
You think Game 6 of the regular season he's afraid of a suspension?
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
And I'm not going to lie, kicking someone in the balls is some pussy-ass shit.
It's such a bitch-ass move.
And we never
everybody called
attributed to
LeBron a bitch for being, like, passive-aggressive about it or whatever, or like, telling on him. Yeah. You're punching people in the dick repeatedly.
That's a good point. You are a perpetual penis puncher.
Good alliteration, dog.
A perpetual penis puncher.
That's right.
Wow.
A habitual cock kicker.
I would have tripped over those words, man.
No, but
a
constant cock kicker. That's what you are. And it is interesting that because we always looked at that in a fight, right? You know, when you're growing up, you're like, oh, you're kicking?
Yeah.
Why are you kicking? Oh, you know, no balls, or something like that.
It's always hands and faces, man.
If that's your first thing, I think that Draymond might have bit off a little more than he could chew. He was getting a little cocky this year. I remember there was one player that from the Mavs that went in. I think it was Clayville was by his name, and he just he enters the game at the end of the game.
He was like, "Who's that?"
He goes, "Who is this? Who is that?" It's just like, all right, well.
I guess Dennis Smith Jr. tried to dunk on him. He's like, yo, you're never going to dunk on me.
He almost finished on him.
All right, keep thinking
Dennis,
that.
Dennis Smith Jr., I like
He'll
this.
catch him, though.
John back. He was like, all right, what's up?
Yeah, what happened?
It'll happen, bro.
Those bunnies
48-inch vertical is nothing to sneeze at, bro.
Yeah.
Better have a head on the swivel.
Do you think this affects him in the playoffs?
Absolutely.
I wonder if he's affected by it. Do you think he's affected by it? Or do you think he's so isolated? Do you think he's going, oh, my God, they've seen the cracks in my armor. Oh, my God, I'm not tough Draymond anymore.
No, because I kind of feel like he doesn't need to be tough in the finals. He just needs to play ball. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like the reason why they lost to the Cleveland Cavaliers that one series in the finals was because he was too busy still trying to prove to everyone he's a big, tough guy. And then he fucked around and ended up getting suspended. You know what I mean? Just getting in Bron's face where, like, the game's over. You're up 20. You got one more game to just to win the finals. Yeah. All you had to do was just walk away. Like, yeah, Bron grazed his nuts on your head. Like, bro, you're going back to Golden State. They already, you know, the refs already have it out for you.
Yep.
All you have to do is walk away. And you did it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So you missed that game. Bron goes off again. They go back to Cleveland. You get clapped. And then you lose, you know, Game 7. And you blow the biggest, you know, lead in NBA Finals history. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Greatest thing I've ever seen.
So it was fantastic.
But here's what I'm saying.
It was so good. I remember exactly where I was. Do you guys remember where you were?
Oh, yeah. The block, dog. I was at my girl's brother-in-law's place.
I was at
my girl's brother-in-law and I watched together.
I was at Suite 36. We had a big watch party over at Suite 36. And when the LeBron block happened, like I've been in public places for like 3 major sporting events.
Yeah.
The Odell catch, the David Tyree catch, and the LeBron block.
Yeah.
And like it's one of those things where it's so loud you don't hear anything.
Yeah.
It's just like
one
of those things.
It becomes white noise.
Yeah, it's like some white noise. It wasn't that loud in there, but yeah, that was the greatest thing I've ever
watched
seen.
a replay of it recently, and this motherfucker comes out of nowhere on that block.
Yo, Steph was at the free throw line and they were doing a back and forth with him and Iguodala. LeBron was still at half court,
and
still made up the. I'll never understand.
It's funny how one play can change like who you are as a player.
Oh, for sure.
Because now LeBron relishes the block.
Yeah.
Have you noticed this? Like, if there's
he
a
will
fast
slow
break,
down.
he'll slow down
just so we can get that ball.
Block that shit. It's so interesting how positive feedback can induce behavior in even like the most sophisticated of people.
Because everybody was always like, like Skip Bayless and all these other people. Like LeBron's not clutch because he doesn't have that walk off.
Skip is just trying to make
Jordan, money. Game winning, Like clutch comes in different ways, dude. Like
I want to talk about these guys that talk about sports.
Let's talk about them.
I really want because I'm getting very frustrated at the lack of repercussions for hot takes.
Yes,
because
people want hot takes at all costs.
Is hot takes. And then they're wrong, and they just shift the narrative to somebody else. It's like Trump. I swear to God, these guys like all these guys talking shit about Lonzo going up against Wall. Oh, he's about to get cooked by Wall. Gortat, oh, we're gonna see you. Stephen A, oh, this is what it's like when you're going up against a real point guard in the league. I think Rappaport was shitting all over Zoe. Everybody was shitting all over Zoe. Lonzo is responsible for 7 points in overtime, 2 assists and 1 bucket of his own.
He had the better game.
John Wall played a decent game.
He had a decent game, but he shot himself out of it and missed the game winner.
And he was 1 for 7, I think, in the fourth quarter in overtime. John Wall was, right? They get the win, and then all of a sudden the next day these people are quiet. Yeah. Why are there no repercussions for shit talk?
Because nobody ever gets pressed. Like nobody.
We need to start pressing these motherfuckers and holding them accountable. This is some bullshit.
That's you know what messed it up for everybody?
What?
Jalen Rose.
Talk.
Jalen Rose messed it up for everybody because back in in the early days of First Take, that's when NBA players and NFL players still went on the show because it was part of the Car Wash and ESPN.
Yeah.
And that was one of the shows he did. When Jalen Rose went up to Skip Bayless and called him Water Pistol Pete, and pulled up his high school stats. How Skip Bayless used to talk all wild shit. How he thought he was Pete Maravich in high school. He played he played so flashy and da-da-da-da. He pulled up his stats. He's like, great. You really want to talk Skip Bayless, Water Pistol Pete? You average 2 points a game, da-da-da-da-da. And then you're going to talk to me, Jalen Rose, Fab Five, NBA champion, all this other shit. You know what I'm saying? And ever since then, it was okay, well now, everyone's like, oh my God, Jalen Rose, that was so mean. How are you gonna go at Skip Bayless like that? And they made him apologize, and Skip was wild embarrassed about the whole thing. And I'm just like, dog, this is your job, bro. You don't think you could talk and just people aren't gonna pull up your history? Not even just in your job, just in life. You know what I'm saying? You think you're just gonna talk all crazy for years, and you don't think anyone's gonna cross check or fact check any of the wild shit that you say?
Skip is not a person. Skip Bayless is
not. I mean it from Skip though.
He's a machine that's what's the most controversial thing I can say so I can get attention, and that's what he does.
Real talk, Skip is the kingmaker, man.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not joking. Skip is the kingmaker. This guy, in my personal opinion, Stephen A. Smith was at his best with Skip.
Yeah,
and Skip knows his role. I'm gonna say these stupid hot takes. Yeah. You're gonna call me dumb. And everybody's going to love how you're calling me dumb. And they're going to tune in to watch me be wrong. In a lot of ways, it's almost like Mayweather. Skip's got Mayweather in him. He says he's wild, crazy. Oh, I'm going to knock him out in the fourth. It goes to decision. And he beats him in a boring fight. But he's talking shit. So people are tuning in to see Mayweather lose. They're tuning in to see Skip lose. He made Stephen A. Obviously, Stephen A. talented guy. Don't get me wrong. But he made Stephen A. a king. When Stephen A. and Max Kellerman on the same show, Stephen A. ain't a king.
Yeah.
That's a regular dude.
Yeah. It's still.
You know who's a king now?
Shannon Sharp.
Shannon motherfucking Sharp, dog.
Shannon Sharp, bro.
Shannon Sharp is a dude. How many clips are we seeing of Shannon just going at Skip and destroying Skip? Skip, I think there's value to knowing your role and knowing what you bring to the conversation. And maybe Skip knows, hey, listen, I'm not a superstar myself. I need somebody else. And when they shit all over me, we make some pretty great TV.
Side note, the sports radio station I always listen to, The Ticket, Skip was on there the first day it started. He was the guy. None of them liked him. It didn't work out. Right. But they said something once they're one thing I can say I'm proud of, we don't ever come on here and make up sports takes.
Right.
That's what Skip does. That's what a lot of these guys do. And it's I get it. It's a 24-hour news cycle. But fuck, it's exhausting to listen to you and hear people believe you think you believe what you're saying. You know what I mean?
One thing I gotta give Skip his credit for though is the hardest thing to do in any form of entertainment, and that is change someone's routine. For like 30 years, I've woken up and put on ESPN or SportsCenter or First Take for like ever since like my mind was conscious enough to like sports. Now I'm watching FS1.
Bro,
That's crazy.
Unbelievable to see what is happening.
And it's like, dog, like you can say what you want about Skip, but I'm like,
ain't nobody
the motherfucker's got a formula, and he's doing really well with it.
I get annoyed that we keep buying in. I refuse to buy in. It's Trump. I refuse to give him.
You know
who
he is? He's Bannon. He ain't Trump. He's Bannon.
He's worse than Trump.
He knows how to make a Trump.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He knows how to put together a Trump. Because you know that Bannon, I think, also made Milo.
He did. Yeah, it was Breitbart.
Bannon knows how to make these motherfuckers. He knows he don't have the skills to do it himself, but he can recognize that shit. And I think Skip is there.
He's clearly not a dumb dude, but I hate the people who are dumb are the ones who believe he thinks what he's saying.
Sure.
If you think he really doesn't think LeBron is great, like you're a fucking idiot. Stop buying in.
Bro, they're still the National Enquirer. You know what I mean? People still buy that shit. They still sell ads in the National Enquirer.
He might not be Trump, but the people who hate him are the Trump haters who just keep buying into the shit he's saying and giving it more attention. And it's like, bruh, leave it alone.
I love it. Tune in to Skip.
Nah,
make that shit.
I'm still gonna watch the show, bro.
To this show,
Miles in that yak.
Boy.
I love Shannon Sharp, man. If it's anything, bro, Skip has turned me on to the genius of Shannon Sharp.
Yep.
And like, not only is he entertaining, he's funny as shit too. So, and I wouldn't have known that because I'm not a Broncos fan.
Bro, Skip right here. You, Shannon. Let's just do that. You know what I mean? What the fuck we talking about? Andrew don't got more ridiculous things to say than Skip.
I do have more ridiculous things to say than Skip.
Yeah.
But I'm right.
You should pay more homage to Skip Bayless, to be honest,
bro. I'm paying all the homage.
More homage.
What else? You look like his nephew.
I got that.
You look like his nephew.
I got the same grin right now. Oh man. Schulz Bayless.
That's what you guys can call me when I start getting crazy.
That's some new shit.
Did you see David Stern say that the NBA should legalize weed?
Yes.
Yeah.
You want a flagrant hot take?
Yeah.
That motherfucker's invested in a farm.
Oh yeah.
Guaranteed he's invested in a dispensary or farm or some kind of shit.
Makes a lot of sense.
Guaranteed. Because think about it. What would make weed more normalized than if Steph Curry was sponsored by a marijuana strain?
But even then,
they are the Dubs.
That would be tight.
They are the Golden State Dubs.
Yeah.
Can I get a dub? Like, think about what's going on here.
State dub?
Come on now.
You go to Red Robin and they give you a Golden State dub.
Yo, boom, got him.
You kidding me?
You know my theory on why he said this?
What?
He's a little jealous of Silver.
I think so.
Silver killing it. Every controversy that comes, he just knocks it out of the fucking park. Players love him.
Yep.
No players loved Stern.
Nobody.
So I think Stern is like, first of all, let me say some shit the players will love. Second of all, if Silver won't legalize it, maybe they'll turn on him a little bit. I'm tired of this motherfucker getting all this love.
No, Adam Silver's Teflon, dog. He's the anti-Roger Goodell. Like any type of drama that has, went through the NBA,
right? That
the NFL had first, like. Adam Silver's dusting that off like he's like in the Catholic Church. Like, it's nothing, bro. Like, I got this. Like, protests, nothing. Like, drug tests, nothing. Racist owners, nothing. Like, he is just immaculate when it comes to dealing with any type of, like, controversy. And David Stern's always been, like, he's always going to be remembered as the guy who, like, maybe fixed the 1984 draft for Patrick Ewing. He implemented a fucking dress code for some reason. Yeah. He put a zone defense in the NBA when Allen Iverson was killing too much. Like he took a lot of the fun out of the NBA. And if it wasn't for guys like Jordan or Bron or
he was the NBA's Goodell.
Yeah, exactly. He was absolutely. And now he's trying to be like, hey, I'm cool. I'm hip. I like weed. It's cool.
Do we give Stern no credit for bringing the NBA to the forefront of sports?
Oh no, he gets a ton of credit.
The reason the NBA is here right now is because of David Stern and his policies.
I don't know what he did early on, and I've heard he was amazing. From like Bill Simmons will say, he used to be the best commissioner.
I mean, look at the NBA.
Yeah,
it's here because of Stern. You have to give him credit.
What do you mean? What did he do? I don't know. Like,
you gotta understand,
he marketed the league.
He brought the NBA to primetime. Like before David Stern was the commissioner, NBA games were on tape delay. So, like, they would have games. You could read the scores about the game the next day. And maybe if the game is big enough or in your market, you might be able to watch it the next day.
So I'm not denying it. I'm curious because I believe you. Early on, I think he was that. What did he do? Like if you ask me what Silver did, I would say from a PR perspective, he's really helped the league, and like the way he handled Sterling and the way he handles his players in general, and like it's kind of positioned themselves, like you said, like the anti-NFL.
Yeah.
Outside
We are a players'
of Sterling,
league.
what else?
I think in general, he's not coming down super harsh on like penalties. Like if you stepped on the court during a fight, you got suspended in David Stern's NBA. I think he might have done that for the first time this time.
Now nobody steps on the court.
I kind of feel like David Stern.
It also had
I feel like David Stern did all the. You know what David Stern is?
What?
David Stern. You ever have to open up a jar and you can't open it? You know what I mean? And you trying to open it, you're like, "Fuck, can you try to open this?" And the person just pops it open real quick. It's like he did all the heavy twisting, and then Silver's just sliding into place.
I mean,
and benefiting from a lot of the work that, to be honest, they both did together because Silver was the right hand man. So in a lot of ways, maybe we can attribute some of the great things that Stern did to Silver. Maybe they were his ideas. Maybe he was the brain trust the entire time.
Maybe.
All I'm saying is you have to give the guy in charge credit. Right? You give the best player on the team credit. You give the leader of the league credit.
That's fine.
I'm not giving him credit. All I'm saying is, with everything that I have yet to hear one person, one star player, one player of any significance in NBA criticize Adam Silver about anything.
Dwayne Wade almost beat up David Stern.
Really? What happened?
Yeah. I forget the exact story. You probably know it, Kaz, but like during the...
That's why he wants to legalize weed.
The lockout meetings. Yeah, during the lockout meetings, I think
aggressive.
David Stern like called him son or like pointed at him in a way that Dwayne Wade didn't like.
Right.
Dwayne Wade
I did hear about that.
Apparently like stood up and was like, get your finger out of my fucking face or some shit like that.
Yeah,
like it was something to that
during
degree.
the union meetings.
Yeah.
Like when they were trying to like broker like to end the strike or whatever, like get a new deal. Like I guess like he tried to like son him and Dwayne was like, yo, I'm not having it. You know? And it's like I have you'll never hear anything about that from Adam Silver.
There's a funny story about that when they were in the what is it called, lockout?
Yeah.
And they had all the owners of the teams that were in there. Or I think it was agreeing on the CBA. I forget what it was, but Jordan had owned the team already at the time, and they had all the owners of the teams in the room, and they were basically going through all the owners and making sure that they would agree to the CBA. And the first owner to step up is Jordan, and the meeting is just formal at this point. It's like we're all here to just say we agree, right? And the meeting, the first person to go up is Jordan. He's like, nope. And then Stern is like confused, and everybody's confused. And the next person that goes up, and they're like, yeah. And the next person goes up, yeah. And the next person goes up, yeah. And then Jordan just stops. He goes, oh, so we're not going to do what we planned, huh? So we're just not going to do it, huh? So apparently they had like an inside practical joke where they were just going to all say no just to bust his balls. And Jordan had the only boy that was the only one with balls to do it. These all fucking pussies just caved at this Stern. But I just love how he steps up on the boat. He goes, oh, so I'm the only one that's going to do it, huh? Okay, I see how it is.
Other things Silver has done, he's pushing to legalize gambling in the NBA, which is seen as progressive. He did the
is that good or bad?
He did the anti-tanking measure. I just think he's seen as progressive and like he's seen as he gets it, quote unquote.
Yeah.
More than Stern.
No, people like him.
Yeah.
People definitely like him. Okay. Do we talk about this World Series that everybody can't shut the fuck up about, or do we just keep moving?
I tried to watch the last two innings yesterday, and I was like, "Bro, go Texas." You know, Houston, that's good enough, but like, fuck, I don't. Fuck, bro.
I thought it was tight, man.
Okay,
did you really?
Apparently,
I love dingers, bro.
Well, so
I love dingers, bro.
You want to hear some little hot take? You want to hear a little drama?
What?
Yeah.
I think that they purposely have doctored the balls.
Yeah, I think the balls.
That's a loud narrative.
So I know it's a loud narrative, but I was doing a little research on it, and after I was looking up sperm, and so that was my.
They
day
doctor the
yesterday.
balls with sperm to make it real slick.
I was looking up a lot of ball stuff yesterday, guys. But apparently, there's a different texture to the ball, and some of the pitchers were complaining.
Yeah.
Right? And they're like, yeah, the balls feel much slicker. The slider isn't catching. I can't throw my slider. And they did all these weird metrics, and they found out that, like, Yu Darvish, who had only been hit on, like, 5 sliders all year, something absurd like that, like, all of a sudden he was hit on, like, 5 in the same day. Mm-hmm. And all these pitchers are afraid of, throwing this slider because it just doesn't catch right. They can't just grip it right. And it brings up a very important conversation, which is, okay, yes, they're changing the game to make the pitchers disadvantaged. But isn't it worth it?
It is worth it. That's all. That's literally all I watch baseball for, and that's really all a lot of people watch baseball for. Yeah. I want to see dingers.
So this is a lot of.
You should only be allowed to throw strikes.
A lot of young people, like from big cities, probably. I guess our problem with baseball is that it's too in the past. The thing that like hardcore baseball fans love about baseball, from what I understand, is keeping it traditional, keeping it pure. That's why they wouldn't like this doctored ball thing. Right. But like. To everybody else, it's like, yeah, it's more fun this way.
Yeah. I mean, like, think about it. Like, if the NFL, you know, like, they have their problems, but they came with the times. Yeah. Same thing with the NBA. They came and met people with the times. Like, okay, there's this league, the ABA, where they have this 3-point shot, and people seem to love it. We should probably have that. Not even
just ABA. I was just talking to you about this last week, Andrew. Remember when 10 years ago or 15 years ago, basketball scores were like 68 to 83 final?
Yeah.
The NBA was like, yo, we can't have this. This is too fucking boring.
If you cracked 100 points, like, that's like a high scoring game.
That was the Suns.
No, it is interesting. The high scoring game of play and also the 3-point shooting is way more accessible to foreigners than the traditional basketball game.
It's true. You got to make it. And I personally don't mind defensive stuff. Like, I don't mind. I don't want too defensive, and I don't like super offensive. But people love it.
Mm-hmm. It just the random fan does. I mean, I remember when I was watching the Warriors Cavs game. I was in Aruba, of all places, kind of random. But I was watching the game, and there was all these foreigners there, and every foreigner was a Warriors fan.
Of course.
Every single foreigner. And they knew nothing about the game. Didn't know what the fuck 3 seconds was. Didn't know anything. Didn't know fucking carry or any of these, like, you know, random calls that they would hear. They had no clue what was going on. But they did understand, oh, that's a far shot, and he shoots it, and it goes in. And it was just very digestible for them. So, you know, maybe these changes that are made in the league are just help it expand.
I mean, all sports is a business at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You got to get casual fans to care. And the fact that you care now when you've never cared about baseball is because it's high scoring.
Yeah. I'd never give a damn about baseball unless the Yankees in the World Series, because that means we might get a parade.
Yeah.
But yesterday's game was like it was like watching a video game. Like, I'll play a baseball video game to death. I'm like, that's just mad fun.
Right.
And the only reason why I do that is because, like, the scores are like 13-14, and like everybody hitting home runs and stuff, and that's what last night's game was like.
The most boring sports make the best video games.
Oh, for sure.
Soccer is incredible. Baseball is really fun. Hockey, golf.
Yeah.
That Wii golf or the anything like that.
Tiger Woods golf was the shit, by the way, before they took that away from him.
Even. That's what it is. Yeah. Shitty sport, great video game.
Yeah. Even hockey. You know, hockey could be boring to some people, but
I fucked with hockey.
Hockey live is.
I've heard you have to go live to appreciate it. I've never been live.
I went to a hockey game.
We should do that little group trip.
Let's do it. Bleacher, shout out to us.
Shout out to them. Let's
put the bread up.
We should get a fan and bring them to a hockey game. We should do a tour. That should be our first big thing. We should do a tour of boring sports.
Yo!
The Flagrant 2 Boring Sports Tour. And just go everywhere. Let's go to a golf.
Marketing genius.
Let's go to the Masters, dog. I want to go to the Masters. How funny would it be us two at the Masters?
That shit would be so lit, bro. And we'll make that shit pop. We'll go to the WNBA finals. We will go to a baseball game in the middle of the season. We will go to a golf tournament.
What is it called?
We'll go watch swimming.
Where they go? I'm not watching swimming.
We're gonna watch swimming. We'll go to horse race. We'll watch horse racing.
I'll do the derby. NASCAR.
Go to NASCAR. Yeah, let's do it.
We got to go to the most boring sports.
The Flagrant 2 Boring Sports Tour.
Where the girls clean the floor.
Curling.
Curling.
Yeah. Yes.
I had a joke about that of how America is so bad at it because our women are equal. You know what I mean? Like, they forgot how to sweep. You know what I mean? If we would have pressed these bitches a little bit more, we'd be gold medalists in this curling shit all the time. These poor girls walking out there with a Swiffer.
Oh my God, you're a terrible person. You're actually a terrible person.
All right, so so we'll make it happen.
Somebody sponsor that. The Flagrant 2 Boring
Sports Tour.
We're gonna make that happen.
Coming to a city near you,
or maybe not, because boring sports aren't in cities near you.
Oh shit, we gotta go. We gotta go.
To like Iowa and shit.
We'll go to a rodeo. I've been to a rodeo.
That looks fun, hot though. That looks dangerous.
This is gonna be real Hindu what I'm about to say, but when they would rope the calf and just fucking tie it up, that shit hurt me. I rooted for the cow every time, dog. I was like, get away from this white man. You don't need that shit. It hurt my stomach, fam. That shit.
Akaash, you have a heart of gold, bro.
I couldn't do it. I was like, yo, don't tie up this little baby calf, man.
Nah, bro, that calf needs to get tied the fuck up.
That shit made my stomach hurt. Man.
Yeah, we gotta take you to. We gotta take you to like a bull killing. What is that called again?
A bull killing.
What do they call it in Spain? No, not the running of the bulls. I've been there actually. What is it called?
The Toro shit?
Yeah.
A bullfighting.
Bullfight.
Yeah.
We gotta take. You know what's funny? It's stupid they call it a fight because the bull don't know he's fighting.
Yeah.
The bull thinks he's playing tag, and he's like, "Yo, why my back hurts every time I miss? What's going on?" Like, stop calling it a fight. Just call it slaughter, bull slaughter. But we should go to that shit for real.
I'll fuck with it.
Hey, for real, let's make it happen.
The Boring Sports Tour, it's gonna happen.
The Boring Sports Tour.
2018 is coming.
Yeah, we want everybody listening. You got to let us know the boring ass sports that are in your city, in your countries, or whatever. We got to go to cricket. Your people's sport.
We're gonna come there and turn that shit up.
It don't fit the criteria.
Boring, son.
It don't fit the criteria. It's too
live.
live.
Any sport that isn't the big four.
Okay.
Or fight
is cricket the big? That's the most boring sport.
Oh, I'm sorry. You don't appreciate art,
son. It takes
sports.
No, I don't want art in my sport.
I'm sorry. You don't appreciate
7 days.
Game? Yeah, 7 days of glory.
Nah, bro. You don't even know the rules to that shit.
I know the rules.
What's a wicket?
Shit. That's when you hit the ball against the fucking wickets.
Nah, that's not a wicket. That's not a wicket,
that's a
bro.
Wicket.
I know what a wicket is.
That's a wicket.
I looked up that while I was looking up sperm and then the other thing.
No, you didn't.
No,
bro.
I didn't. But no, a wicket is some other shit.
All right.
Why don't they have gloves?
Because they're men, fam. Not pussies.
Yeah. You think it could have to do with the fact that they're poor?
Wow.
Yeah, I was thinking about.
You think when they saw baseball players, they're like, "Oh, that is a good idea.
Yeah,
we should grab those."
I was thinking about that's the game that really crosses economic lines because like England plays, Australia plays, South America plays, but like only the white people, I think, and then like India, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka. Like, there's no real economic.
But what is the common denominator there?
Colonialism.
Colonialism.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the English also eat curry.
Yeah, sure.
Bro, I was at an Irish pub, and on the menu it said traditional Irish dishes, fucking vegetables, whatever, pastrami, the cabbage, and then chicken curry.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Shout out to Ireland, yo.
Shout out to Ireland, bro.
I do respect that, just recognizing your food is trash. And just be like, nah, this is our food now. We're going to do it. All right, boys, anything else?
Want to talk some football?
Oh, I'm down.
You said football is hard to watch. Why'd you say that?
Oh, man.
Because I know
Zach Miller?
I know. I saw that.
Tight end? Oh, my Jesus.
This is why it's hard to watch.
They saved his leg, though, so that's good.
Oh, it's saved.
They saved his leg,
It's hard to watch because I know it kills people now.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I was thinking about.
And it was weird. I thought about, like, the show Ridiculousness on MTV.
Yeah.
Or even, like, Jackass or those shows. Like
Tosh.0.
Tosh.0. They're so funny because I know the people are all right.
Mm-hmm.
But if let's say that Ridiculousness, every person that, like, fell off a house or, like, fell off their bike died.
They died. Yeah.
That show would get taken off the air immediately.
Extremely quick.
That'd be a sadistic show.
Yeah.
Like, who would even sponsor a show where you were getting joy off of people's deaths, right?
Yeah.
And now that I know that every one of these head hits ends up being, you know, a concussion that can really change someone's lives and their family's lives, it's a different reaction that I have to, one, a head hit, and two, if your team sucks, why are you trying?
Why are you trying so hard?
Like, the Cleveland Browns, like, are you retarded, dude? Why are you even trying?
It is not worth it, bro.
I can't I understand if you have the chance to win a Super Bowl. That's a lifelong dream. Okay, maybe I'll risk some CTE for that. But we haven't won a game in fucking, what is it, 10?
The last time they won a game, Johnny Manziel was quarterback.
Fam.
Think about that shit.
It's just for what, dude? I'm not going to get CTE to lose.
Nah.
I'm just not going to do it.
Not even just CTE, man. Like, I just can't stop thinking about that Zach Miller injury. Like, it was way worse than I'm pretty squeamish when it comes to, like, legs breaking.
Yeah, I can't even. I don't even watch it.
Yeah, so, like, you know, the Gordon Hayward thing was bad, and the Zach Miller thing is worse.
That should look like when you separate the chicken wing.
Dude, bro, that's what it looked like.
Done.
And it's like now, you know, thank God, like, they've been able to stabilize his leg, but, like, there was a good chance they were going to amputate his leg.
For why?
Because, I don't know. Apparently, like, a crucial artery in his leg.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, it was bleeding to the point where, like, there's a good chance we might have to chop this thing off.
Yeah.
So, like, apparently they stabilized it, whatever, but holy hell. for a game.
Here's how I think
I didn't even get hit.
Dog,
my man just
he
landed.
went to go. Yeah, he landed funny, and they didn't even count the touchdown.
I didn't understand that. I was trying to understand the. And I'm not one of these emotional people about rules. If the rule is there, that's the rule. But if he's down in the end zone and he has control of the ball, how is that not a touchdown?
NFL catches are the one thing I'll never understand anymore. Like,
no, we used to understand. It used to be real simple.
Yeah. It used to be simple. Once they implemented instant replay, and you have to replay every single catch, like that's when it's like, dog, what's a catch now? Now you have to catch it and make a football move and make sure the ball doesn't move, but if it hits the ground and you're on top of it, it's like, oh, like you've played catch your entire. It's the one thing everybody who's ever played a sport has done: play catch. Right. Like if you get it in your hands, it's a catch.
Can I ask you guys one question? This is something I never understood. You need to have 2 feet inbounds for it to be a catch.
Yeah.
But to be out of bounds, you need 1 foot.
But you're still halfway in bounds.
But but what I'm saying is, like, if you're running and your foot goes out of bounds, you're out of bounds.
Yeah.
You don't need 2 feet out of bounds in order to be out of bounds.
But
you
that's
just
why.
Need 1
so
foot.
if you come down with 1 foot out of bounds and 1 foot inbounds, then you are out of bounds.
But if you come through, if I land with 1 foot inbounds and the other foot doesn't also hit inbounds, then it goes out of bounds.
Yeah.
That's not a catch.
Correct.
So what's
that
your
actually
alternative?
makes perfect sense.
It makes no sense.
Yeah, because if 1 foot steps out of bounds, you're out of bounds.
Correct.
Right. So if you land and 1 foot steps out of bounds, you're out of bounds.
Okay, let's start over.
But in college,
we're on the same page.
College they don't do that. Though.
Exactly. But I just want to make sure we're on the same page with Akaash here. So this is what I'm trying to say, right? I catch the ball. I have possession of the ball. 1 foot is inbounds.
See, they would say you don't have.
Let me just finish. And then the next step, my other foot goes out of bounds.
Yeah.
They said that that's not
possession.
Possession.
Yeah.
But in college, that is possession. You only need 1 foot inbounds. Yeah. Why change the rule? Why do I need 2 feet to have possession? I can hop 1-footed all up the field if I want. I can go 100 yards on 1 foot if I want. What is it about 2 feet that defines possession? It makes no sense. So the
idea that the way I watched football growing up is basically the football move is like you take a step. Yeah. You land with 2 feet inbounds. You take a step. You turn around. Something that establishes some kind of possession.
Now that you don't need that anymore.
Now it's very confusing.
Drag your feet.
But if you land with 2 feet, that's how you establish possession.
Yeah, but Kaz, can you offer any insight in this?
The one thing that
2 feet makes it?
Goddamnly not. I don't know what a catch is.
The one thing that's murky is that 1 knee equals 2 feet. That I don't get.
Bruh, if you catch it and any part of your body is inbounds, if it's your hand, I don't care what it is. Like literally, you could be upside down. One hand could be inbounds, and you have possession of that ball. That should count. You're inbounds, and you're holding the football.
Yeah,
what does an amount of feet matter?
I think you need to land firmly with possession.
Yeah.
Like if the ball's slipping out as you fall, that's not a catch, right?
It makes no sense. Why? If I'm a fraction of an inch out of bounds, then my whole body's out of bounds. Yeah. But my whole body needs to be inbounds in order for me to be considered inbounds?
Yeah.
I'm confused.
If you catch the ball and you haven't stepped out of bounds, that's a catch. That's how it should be. I don't know why this is difficult.
I don't know. I'm confused, man. I feel like in the same vein.
Well, that's right. In the end zone, you don't have to. It just extends, right? Like you can just. You have to cross this invisible
that was
line.
Gonna be my next point. You just got to cross the plane, the pylon or whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah, the pylon extends.
As long as you cross that, you're good. You don't even got to put your whole body in there. You just got to you could put the ball over it and bring it back, and that's a touchdown.
Maybe just because I grew up in Texas, I watched football my whole life. All this makes perfect sense to me.
You are born in football country, so it's
of course. It's high school football matters.
Oh yeah.
So
high school football about to be done, bro.
Yeah.
All it's gonna take is someone suing.
Well, here's the thing. Now, and maybe this is how I'm reconciling something I wanted, because I still enjoy watching football. It's still exciting to me. It's still fun. I think now it's easier to reconcile in a way because they know what they're getting into more. It's almost like boxing. Boxing is not something you can do for 20 years without coming out some kind of fucked up. If you walk into boxing knowingly, all right, cool. Hopefully you know when to get out.
Here's the difference. And I've thought about this because I was like, well, how is it any different than boxing? These guys know what they're getting into. The hits in football that bother me are the ones that are defenseless. Guy's coming over the middle. He catches it out of nowhere. Dude trucks him. Concussion. Sit down. That's what staggers me. That's what shocks me. When you are going up against a guy and you decide to put your head down and he puts his head down, you guys are making a choice. You don't have to do that.
But isn't there also like a thing like don't ever put your hands down in the ring?
Say again?
Isn't there like a thing like don't ever put your hands down in the ring?
Yeah.
When Floyd knocked out the one knockout he's
Ortiz.
had.
Yeah. Hands up at all times. Hands up at all times. Sure, that is the rule, but you know that person is trying to attack you and you're trying to attack them. In football, yes, you know the other team is trying to do it, but you sometimes don't see somebody. Like, it's not like in boxing, they allow you to just be in your corner and then the guy can just run around the ring like in wrestling and then just punch you in the face.
That'd be hilarious if you could do
that. It'd be hilarious, but like, that's what's shocking about it to me. Like, those hits are the ones that end your career, and those are the ones that really bother me.
Yeah, somehow I'm more able to reconcile it just because, like I said, in my mind, now they know, and if they're still choosing to do it, it almost like takes my guilt away. Like, all right, cool. They know.
And, like, even those players that, like, don't know, you know what I'm saying? Like, how do you kind of, like, reconcile that? It's like a lot of these people just don't have, like, the mental capacity to be like, or just that's all they have. You know what I mean? Like, their families probably didn't come from anything great or have any type of money or anything. And, like, literally, I have to give myself. It's almost like it's sort of noble, I guess, like where it's like, yo, you know that I'm gonna have these long-term injuries in my life, but I'm doing this for my family. I'm doing this for whatever.
Now that weed is gonna be legal in the NBA, who would play football as a kid?
Yo,
like, what elite talent would go towards football if in the NBA you don't get CTE and you get to just smoke bong rips during halftime, do whatever the fuck you want. Guaranteed money.
You know,
maybe to be honest, that's just a move to lobby for the best athletes.
Probably.
Like, there's no reason Megatron should be playing football in the NFL.
If my kid could play any sport, it would be baseball.
Really?
Huge paychecks. Your body's fine. You're gonna be fine. You're not doing.
You can play till you're like 50.
Play till you're 50.
Yeah, some pussy ass shit.
So if you could pick your kid to be elite in one sport, now not just play it, but like he'll be like the LeBron of basketball, the Brady of football, or the Aaron Judge of baseball.
Then I would go basketball because of marketing money. But in terms of just salaries, A-Rod is making $25 million a year for 10 years. And then he got another big contract after that, like $28 million.
I almost feel like I'm almost kind of with you on baseball though, because it's like, bro,
you could be fat and play baseball.
There are like 4 like marquee positions in all of sports, right? Being like the quarterback of the Cowboys, point guard of the Lakers,
shortstop for the Yankees.
Shortstop for the Yankees. You know what I mean? Like, you wouldn't have your kid be the shortstop for the New York Yankees.
Nah, fam.
You're like immortalized after that.
Nah, that shit is pussy. I'm not doing it, bro. I'm not
doing it. Heavyweight champion of the world.
Nah.
Not even heavyweight champion of the world.
I don't know why we're not considering soccer here. Soccer is the best of all.
But I don't know what's the marquee position in soccer. Though?
Play striker for Real Madrid or Manchester United.
All right, I didn't consider that. I was just thinking about the lack of baseball's like you're running.
Soccer's
90 feet.
the healthiest sport.
You might
get you get the least punishment. I mean, they do say that maybe from headers and shit like that there could be some sort of damage, but I mean, not that much damage.
What damage you get in basebal?
Say what?
What damage you get in baseball? Yeah, but like not really. There's like 2 of those every 5 years.
It just sucks. Like, you just live a boring ass existence. You know what I mean? That's the damage of baseball.
Yo, you're sitting for most of the game.
Exactly. Like, you really want to spend your life doing that? 182 games.
Bro, you get paid millions to
grab your dick and spit sunflower seeds.
That's great.
What a boring existence.
That's a life, bro.
Nah, bro. And you can't really take that skill anywhere. It's like basketball. You could just be on the court and do some fresh shit. But you're not just like at the park. You're like, okay, you find me a stick, you find me a ball, and then you throw this really fast, and then I'll hit it.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's fun.
You know?
You're saying it's a good lifestyle choice. Or NFL
Slide
punter.
Over just a little bit. What?
NFL punter. That's also a great life.
NFL punter? No.
Bro, there's no pressure. You get paid $1 million a year. You get hit. If you get hit, it's a penalty.
That is true.
That's a great life.
Yeah, but we also got to talk about like being
a cut.
Yeah, you miss one, you get done, and also just being a dork.
Nah, but you're a dork. But kickers got all the pressure. You miss a field goal, everybody hates you.
Yeah.
Punters, you gotta really shank a punch for people. Punch for people to be like, yo, what the fuck?
It's so soft.
Yeah.
Being a punter.
I asked my homie one time.
Marquette King, man.
Yeah, but even that, like, just seeing the look on a girl's eyes, like when you introduce yourself to her at the
like,
club,
I play for the Raiders. Like, really?
What do you do?
We had a friend who some kicker was trying to holler at her.
Just
forever.
imagine the girl's face when you say she's a punter, and she goes, "Oh, that's cool. Yeah, where are your friends?"
You don't even get to lift with the rest of the team.
You don't even. Oh, what? You don't get to lift with them.
Yeah, punter and kickers. They're with special teams.
Yeah, they're all gonna be dead in 25 years. Whatever. I'm alive. I'm alive with millions of dollars.
And one strong ass leg.
Yeah,
and also like you just get made an example of when you try to tackle someone all goofy when they're returning your punt and you're like the last.
Dallas's punter can tackle.
Yeah.
There was somebody on the Lions last year had a return. I'll send you the clip. Look up Chris Jones' tackle. He just fucking form tackled this dude that stood over.
Remember Steve Weatherford?
Get in
dude was like super jacked for the Giants.
There's also you all thought the kicker who beat his wife.
That was the one who beat his wife?
No, he wasn't the one who beat his wife. That was another kicker. I forgot to do his name, but I know Weatherford was like just super jacked. Like he was like Men's Fitness or whatever. He's like the NFL's most fit players and who you think it is and da 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 da. And like he's I seen him like tackle dudes in the open field and shit. Like good for him.
Soft. I ain't doing this.
I would still take like either point guard for the Lakers or like shortstop
marquee
for the Yankees.
position, yeah. And
marquee position, you got to be point guard for the Lakers.
Yeah.
It's not even a question. You gotta be. It's like you
Magic Johnson got so much pussy.
How much pussy did he get?
Let's not finish. You know how that ends.
Everyone knows how that story.
No, it's true, man.
Hopefully, Alonzo learns a lesson.
Wow.
Just saying, bro.
No, it is.
There's no better person to learn from. That's your new boss too, bro.
Yeah, you got no excuse to not get AIDS.
No.
Like if you get HIV,
Magic can't even be mad at you. He's like, come on, bro.
Magic should just fill his locker with condoms, just before every road game.
Yo, but that is some real shit. Like if anybody on the Lakers gets HIV after Magic, you got to be like.
I don't even think LeVar would make that happen. Like I think LeVar screens every chick that Lonzo gets.
I think he tries to fuck first.
He's like, come on, Lonzo. Pussy's good. Come get it. Feels good. Test it. That's real love. That's real fatherly love right there, man.
I'll tell you one thing, young blood. You ain't gonna fuck that pussy like I just did. That's for damn sure. That's for damn sure you ain't gonna fuck it like LeVar did. You gonna be saying LeVar while you fucking her. You hang out and watch. Hang out and watch. See what my son got.
Oh, my God.
All right. Anything else, guys?
Nothing, man. Happy birthday, bro.
Yo, happy birthday, guys. I appreciate that. Thank you, guys.
I'll clap myself.
Hey.
Hopefully we can add some clapping to the end of this.
Yeah, there we go.
We enjoy you, bro.
Thanks
you
guys.
For everything that you do for this podcast and putting all this great stuff together. I know people listening to this don't really like understand, but like Schulz really puts like a lot of elbow grease into making this whole thing
He's
possible.
the
dude. The videos, the graphics, bringing everybody
furniture,
together, making the furniture. Like he really goes in. So we appreciate you, Schulz.
Thank you, my brother.
Happy birthday. Flagrant 2 is just getting started, but it's going to be the beginnings of lots of great shit.
Some big things.
Some really big things. So here's to another year. I'll toast my water to you, bro.
Thank you guys so much for being a part of this. I really appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Yes, sir, bro. Let's go get drunk.
Let's go. Oh, do you guys want to promote anything?
Oh, shit, yes. Story Radio. Listen to me every Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. This Saturday, we are in Atlanta, Georgia for Henny Palooza. Get your tickets on hennypalooza.com. Should be a lot of great surprises. We got DJ Scream, DJ Infamous, all those guys tearing it down as well.
That's dope.
And yeah. And what else? Oh, Wrestle Rap podcast every Saturday. MLW Network, me and my man Emilio Sparks. Get us on Saturday. It's my wrestling podcast. If you guys enjoy me talking about the pro wrestling, you can listen to that. And I think that is it. And I got a really dope interview on Media Bistro that came out today, so go check that out.
That was dope. Congrats on that.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate that.
Schulz, go ahead.
Oh, I'm gonna be headlining Gotham Comedy Club for the New York Comedy Festival on the 9th of November. Make sure you get tickets for that right now. You can get tickets for that on my website, theandrewschulz.com, or you can get it on Gotham's website. Also, I'm going to be in Chicago at Zany's Comedy Club the 4th through the 7th of November. So make sure you get tickets for that. If you're in Chicago, watch 441 on the YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe to this. Watch this. We just did a binge of Stranger Things Season 2 for the Wester Bros podcast. Watch all the episodes and did a podcast for each one in between. It was a crazy long day, so go indulge in that. You can get that at Wester Bros podcast, wherever podcasts are found. And keep on supporting Flagrant 2. Thank you guys so much for making this a thing. I love how it's growing, and I love to see people talking about it. And that can't happen unless you guys share it. So that means the world to us when you do it. So keep doing that.
Check out American Daisies. That's the other podcast I do. We got a new season right now. Check it out. If you are a child of immigrants, I think you'll love it. Also, again, we have a comedy show we're headlining at Caroline's on Broadway for the New York Comedy Festival. It's called ABDCs, November 12th, 7:30 p.m. You can buy tickets at carolines.com. November 12th, ABDCs. Come through.
Yo, that's been another episode of Flagrant 2. My bad, son. I didn't know how to wrap it.
Birthday text.
I was like, you gotta,
it's birthday text. You're right. Yo, that's been another episode of Flagrant 2. Thank you guys so much for listening.
Peace.
Later.